Well, hello, Earthlings. I don't think there's ever been a more important video that I've made up until this point. I have done some research and it's looking like we're in a convergence of, well, some people call it false flags, but we are in the Earth split big time. If you're not feeling it, ask yourself why not, because it's here and you have a choice. But here's what's happening. As the lower frequencies, those who want to stay rooted in the 3D world, the material world, and want to fight for it, go into this transition and realize they're losing control, they're going to start taking some action. And it's going to be very powerful and very convincing. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because I'm going to use the references of Edgar Cayce, Dolores Cannon, and Wernher von Braun. Yeah, former NASA guy. You may have heard about this. If not, and of course, Baba Vanga, who's mentioned a few things, all pointing to some things that are going to take place that you must be fully aware of. Why is this happening? I'll tell you here in a minute, and it's going to make perfect sense. Let's go. Welcome to Landria on YouTube. This is such an important message. I hope you'll subscribe and share this message. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and click that little bell, because the messages you're going to receive from this day forward are going to be a little bit more intense. You're going to see my emotions really coming out because I feel so strongly about why you're here and how important you are and the powers that you hold. And here's what's happening. I'm going to talk about all of these prophecies and things that were said about what's going to start taking place. And I see it already happening. Yes, I'm going to tell you what's happening right now that you have to be so aware of, so that we do not, well, let's just say history doesn't repeat itself and we go down that ridiculous road of 3D. We're going into a new era. I promise you that. It's going to count on you after you watch this video. Now, here's what I want you to know, and it's super important. And that is the world is splitting in a frequency spiritual manner only, okay? The physical world is going to adjust according to what we create. Now, why is it getting intense? People are going into their spiritual, powerful one consciousness selves. What does that mean? We're realizing we're unlimited. We can heal ourselves. We can manifest just about everything. And if we go into one consciousness of community, we become powerful as one species. And that means what? There's no power struggles anymore. We don't go into them. We don't care about them. We live simpler, healthier, happier lives. What is that? It's a direct threat to those who prefer to control the material world. Therefore, the old world and the new world aren't just splitting. The old world is going to battle to stop us from recognizing the power that we wield. Does this make sense? What happens if you realize that you can actually heal yourself and that there are other people that will help you to do that? What if you realize that we could have free energy and that we could grow things without chemicals and that we would be healthy and that we can live in a world like that? What if we start respecting nature and we no longer start pumping garbage out into the oceans and we stop supporting those businesses? They collapse. And that is not desired by those who've been making billions and trillions off of the ignorance of humanity that is no longer ignorant. What happens when we go into one consciousness? We're equal, powerful beings. And there are those who want to stop that and want to place fear in you. This is going to be very important for you. What you watch, what you do, what you consume, your actions, your thoughts have to stay in the highest frequency. That means, yes, this you do to the least of us, you do to me, said Christ. Well, guess what? We are now going into something so powerful that we can accelerate this split, and the prophecies of people like Edgar Cayce will not be as intense because we are now working with nature. The solar flares, the earthquakes, all these things will be less intense than predicted because of the frequency of the planet. Edgar Cayce actually said this, that we can actually control that because we and it are one. We're not separate. It's not happening to us. Now, those who want us to go into fear will tell us that this is the end of the world. Things are happening. Couldn't be further from the truth. So I'm going to go into what I looked up about these wonderful people who had a message for us that you need to learn about. We're going to talk about somebody you may not know about, Wernher von Braun, actually worked in World War II from the worst, lowest place as a scientist. Of course, when World War II ended, he came to the United States. He was extremely valuable and very intelligent. And I think he was forgiven from anything he's done working as a scientist for the other guys and joined NASA. He was actually a critical piece of why we put rockets up there in the first place. And he had a very distinct message that he gave before he left, and we're going to go into it very soon. I want you to be aware of this because when it happens, I want you to ignore what appears to be truth and ask yourself if it really is or not. Now, we can be fooled a lot with AI. There's a lot of stuff out there you're going to see. It's just not real. This is why you have to monitor your media consumption. What did he know about coming events that he predicted a long time ago? So I'm going to tell you the four areas that this is going to happen. And it's not just about alien contact or disclosure. That's just one piece. We're going to talk about our health, our consumption, our one consciousness, and our powers. I'm going to go through each one of these because we're going to get hit in every single one of these areas to keep us back and keep us where we've been, working in the fields while the king's up in the castle, right? Getting gout, eating, eating himself into gout. And we're not doing it anymore. It's not even necessary. We live in a technologically advanced world that doesn't have to place people in those positions ever again. But that world is collapsing, and there are those who are going to fight. The claim that Wernher von Braun warned of an alien false flag primarily comes from the testimony of Dr. Carol Rosen. She is a former aerospace executive who worked closely with von Braun during the final years of his life. That was the mid-1970s. And according to Rosen, she's got videos out there and they've been sort of squashed, like, oh, crazy lady, right? Von Braun revealed a long-term strategic plan. We're going into it right now, often referred to by researchers as the last card scenario. There's going to be last cards in every one of our areas of life here. We're going to go over that. To justify the weaponization of space. How can you put billions and trillions into anything? We're saying, hey, we've got people starving here. No, we don't need to go out in space. For what? Okay, we already just ran around the moon. What did that do? Big whoop. What did that do for us? But here's what it's going to do. The sequence of threats. Rosen claims that von Braun told her the powers that be would manufacture a series of external enemies. They've already been doing this for years with all the movies and that Hollywood is, the aliens are always evil. External enemies to maintain the military industrial complex and secure funding for space-based weapons for aliens that aren't attacking us at all. If they'd have done it by now. They wouldn't wait till we destroyed the planet, all right? He allegedly predicted the threats would appear in this specific order. The Soviet Union, communism, the Cold War era threat happened. Terrorists replacing the Cold War as the primary global concern happened. Nations of concern, rogue states, third world dictators happen. Yeah, we've made a few visits to those countries. The threat of a natural celestial disaster happen. We're just going through this, right? Except for some of the public is actually seeing these things as positive things. We talked about A1 Atlas. Okay, this video is not going to go into that, but I want you to realize all of these events are happening right now. This is why I'm giving you this warning. The last card is aliens. What did we just have? Our government just went into disclosure. It's sort of a joke. I mean, they're showing us stuff we film every night anyways. This is the part you have to be aware of. A staged or exaggerated extraterrestrial threat that would serve as the ultimate justification for global military unification and space weaponry. Remember the drones? That was the first step to saying, see, we don't know what they are. This is scary. We need to be up there in control of things. That was stage one. And by the way, I have no clue what that is, but I know not all of it was human. Key points of the allegation. The final card. Von Braun reportedly emphasized that the extraterrestrial threat would be the final card played. And he told Rosen, remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We have to build space-based weapons against aliens, and all of it is a lie. All of it's a lie. It's more control-based garbage. Don't get caught up into it. The purpose, the goal, per Rosen's account, was to create a permanent state of fear that will allow for absolute control in the placement of weapons in orbit. It's important to note there's no known records of this. He just shared this whether he had to. People die from this stuff, right? While von Braun was a visionary who advocated for space exploration, skeptics often point out that he spent much of his career working for the military-industrial complex. But why would he say that? So I'm going to give you a perspective from other resources. The alien false flag concept, often linked to the term Project Bluebeam, is a recurring thing. I've never heard that before. This is the first time you guys have mentioned it. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Though the specific term false flag was rarely used by older prophets like Edgar Cayce, instead they spoke of shifts and the revelation of hidden truths. Edgar Cayce talked about this, that everything was going to come out and be revealed, and hidden truths. This is one of them. We're going to talk about our health concerns going on right now here in a minute. That's already happening. That's another ploy. It worked the first time, didn't it? It could work again. It's not going to. You don't have to worry about it. But beware. Here's how different mystics and theorists have described such events. Serge Monast and Project Bluebeam. That's 1994. The most direct parallel to von Braun's alien card warning comes from Canadian journalist and mystic Serge Monast. He detailed a four-part plan called Project Bluebeam, allegedly designed by NASA and the UN. The stage invasion. The plan supposedly involves using satellites to project giant holographic images, including alien crafts or religious figures. When did we just see that? Across the sky to create a global simulation of an invasion of the second coming. Hey, listen, Chris Bledsoe, I'm not saying that wasn't what that you haven't seen the real deal. I think he's the real deal, but I think there's way more going on that even he knows about. The goal is to induce a global state of panic and psychological breakdown, leading the world to accept a unified New Age religion and a totalitarian global government as a means of protection. Everything is meant to bring us back to the sources, higher ups, to say, yes, protect us. We're going through it right now. Why are we going in and doing the same old garbage we've done to each other? Because we're supposed to be protecting ourselves against what? We are that. I am that. I am. Are you listening and watching what's going on? It's not working. It's more infighting over what? What are we really fighting about? Resources and power. Here in the United States, our voice is being heard. Edgar Cayce, the Hall of Records and the Shift. While Edgar Cayce didn't explicitly predict a fake alien invasion, his readings provide a foundation for why people expect a major revelation in the current era. The Hall of Records, he predicted that 3 Hall of Records in Egypt near the Sphinx, in the Yucatan, and Bimini. Did you know that? There's 3 would be opened, revealing the true origins of humanity and our connection to higher intelligences. So there has to be another force, because when that comes out, people will freak out and say that it's all evil. It's not. It's beautiful. It's intentional. It's meant for us to become something that we're totally capable of and are just now discovering. You're going to love this. The 2026 context, Cayce spoke of a shifting of the poles and a period of significant global change. We're doing it right now. The poles started changing, I think, in 1997, right around there. Many students of his work believe this shift involves the unveiling of extraterrestrial or interdimensional realities that have been hidden by those in power. Now, Edgar Cayce spoke of interdimensional everything, that things exist. In fact, he even spoke of Christ being other beings beyond human in his incarnations. And he didn't even believe in that stuff, right? He was going into that space of one consciousness, getting this information. You don't have to believe this, but I'm pretty open to it. This shift involves the unveiling of extraterrestrial or interdimensional realities that have been hidden. They've been hidden by those in power. There are people in power, I've never seen an alien. Baloney. I don't believe it for a minute. I think what we are has been known for a very long time. The observer reality. Cayce often emphasized that our physical world is a projection of the mind in a modern context. This aligns with the idea that a staged event would target the collective consciousness to manipulate our perceived reality. Because now we're going out there and we're seeing things. We're seeing orbs and all these other stuff. And at what point is it us or something else? So the observer reality is that our physical world is a projection of the mind. We know that. A staged event would totally target that collective consciousness. There's nothing to ever be afraid of. There's nothing more powerful than you, unless you believe it, and then you create that, and then, of course, other things show up. So the more we are put into fear, the more we will be susceptible to that low frequency and manipulation. Stay strong, my friend. Let's talk about Dolores Cannon, the New Earth and Deception. Dolores Cannon was a hypnotherapist. Of course, she hypnotized people, and there were entities that spoke through her hypnotized clients. Dolores did not channel. She made that very clear. She frequently discussed the New Earth transition, and through her quantum healing hypnosis technique, by the way, I'm one of those hypnotist sessions, she shared information regarding the masking of reality. Cannon noted that while benevolent ETs, she talked a lot, she's got whole books about ETs. If you want to find out what she came up with, it's crazy. While benevolent ETs were here to help humanity transition, there would be a massive amount of fear-based propaganda from governments and media, not from the ETs, designed to make people see them as a threat. We hear that all the time. There's speakers they are against us, and they probably believe what they're saying. I'm not seeing the evidence here. The separation, she predicted a split in human consciousness where those living in fear would be susceptible to grand deceptors like a false threat. You have to be in fear. Stay out of the fear. While those who raise their vibration, their frequency, would perceive the true nature of the visitors, would not be threatened, would not freak out, because we know we're so much more, would not be threatened. So your frequency will help you when these things happen to move past it and recognize what they are. Those in fear are going to go into a completely different space, and they're going to support all of this conflict and garbage. And that's what certain groups want us to do. Go in here, you're going to know. Bulgarian mystic Baba Vanga, she died in 1996. She's credited with a prediction that in 2025, continuing 2026, I personally don't think she named a year. She said it would be the year humanity makes first contact. I don't think she ever named years, but she did talk about first contact. She stated contact would occur in a bizarre way, possibly during a major global event. Chris Bledsoe said this, so who knows what that is. The nuance, while she didn't call it a false flag, she often described future events as being orchestrated or set in motion by unseen forces, leading many to cross-reference her dates with the von Braun-Rosen warnings. We've got Wernher von Braun, Serge Monast, Edgar Cayce, Dolores Cannon. In the world of these mystics, the consensus isn't necessarily that aliens aren't real, but rather that the way they are presented to the public by official institutions would be a calculated deception designed to maintain control during a time of global spiritual transition. You see what's happening? We are evolving spiritually. That's a threat because we can do anything beyond the material world. I mean, things that would blow your mind. And we're starting to discover that and talk about it. And scientists, you heard me talk about Frederic Vangin, who created the microprocessor. This is a major dude, a materialist, had an event. He had a spiritual event. He wasn't sleeping, where he connected. His heart felt light, connected to the one consciousness, and he got answers and he realized we are that. We are not the material world. In fact, we're creating the material world, and that is a threat to materialists. Now, here's what I want to share with you. We're going to hit every area of our lives. One is our health. I'm going to see stuff happening right now. Some of it's orchestrated, some of it's not. And what I want you to know is whether it is or it isn't, it's going to be used to put fear in us, and it's a distraction. All these things are distractions from the stuff that's coming out about a lot of people in control that don't want us to be looking into that. So if we're worried about our health or aliens or whatever, all of a sudden we're like, help us, protect us. And so therefore it's a distraction. Don't go down that road. So if you watch these people on YouTube that are just talking about this and you're starting to go into fear, my message to you is let's stay away from it. Stop watching it. And just know that when it shows up, that we don't have to participate in it. You don't have to go into fear. You could say, well, what if these things are real? I'm telling you that they are produced artificially in so many ways, and that anything that is real is going to be used and manipulated if it keeps us in fear. All you have to do is stay out of fear. Move past it. You're going to experience it. It's going, ah! And then you're going to look at it and say, I'm eternal. What does it matter? How I react right now is what matters. So when we leave here, you don't want to be in fear. You want to go over there and say, I held my ground. I went into my spirituality. So once you go into your one consciousness and you keep going through these stages that Cayce talked about, I did videos on this. You're going to go from that, lower point. There's 3 stages to super consciousness. Nothing can stop you. Because A, in that state of consciousness, you're not overriding free will. You don't want to. You're in unity and love and compassion. You see those doing crazy stuff as beautiful light beings that are making some really low choices and are still part of the one consciousness that's exploring that. That's all it is. Some of you say we're separate. It's impossible. It's impossible for anything to be separate. If you've ever been in that state of consciousness, you know what I'm talking about. You can't explain it to anybody. It's unexplainable. You're just going to have to go there yourself. How do you do that? Meditate. Watch every single thought. I am beautiful. I am whole. I am perfect, as is everything and everyone. We're exploring things. I don't have to understand it. All I have to do is make my best, highest choice at the moment. I must stay out of fear and observe it. Just know it's part of the human existence and it will be used to manipulate us. And I'm not going to participate in that. That's somebody else's game. And then you stay in the new earth and it cannot harm you. As Dolores said, if you're in the high frequency, none of this, it's not going to affect you. You're going to see it as a very actually entertaining game of, oh, we're going to show all this disclosure. Who cares, right? I know who I am, what I am, and I'm going to continue to go into the highest space that I can because we all have shadows that we must clear up. Edgar Cayce spoke of this, and so did Carl Jung. I did videos on that if you want to go reference those. Carl Jung said that there's shadow work that we have to go through. That's why we're here, to explore it, to know it, to go past it, and to know that no one can interfere with that. You're an individual experience, but not an individual energy field. That is all connected to all things. Okay, so we're going to look at our finances. Yep, our health. The other beings are one consciousness. It's all going to be messed with on some level. Finances. Hey, listen, if we go to hell in a handbasket, what are we going to do? The higher frequency humans on this planet are going to come together and combine forces to create a world that we should have been living anyways without all this stuff that we don't need. Are you ready to be responsible for you're consuming, what you put in your body, and it's not going to be perfect, but you're going to make the best, highest choices that you can? I have suggestions down in my description for you to make higher purchases that'll keep your body clean. No animals, no testing, no toxins. Somebody said, what, me with animals? I said, what are you talking about? I don't even eat meat. Got to start living that life. And I'm not telling you have to be vegan or vegetarian. I'm telling you to make the best possible choice that you know is right. And even if you eat meat, I just want you to ask yourself how they're being treated, where they're coming from. And you have to be You're conscious now. I'm sorry, no excuses. We have to be responsible. That's one of the things, the rules, the 12 rules of Edgar Cayce's, taking full responsibility. Ignorance is not a plea. Ignorance isn't a plea. Are you ready? It's going to start happening. It's already happening. And just watch it. Just watch it. Don't start. Is it true? Is it not? You'll never have the facts that either side wants you to know. Just know that what will be, will be. Don't live in fear. And by the way, I never got sick. I still to this day haven't got sick with the first round of stuff going around. And no matter what happens in our future, I'll deal with it, as will you, at the level that you do with your consciousness, and you can overcome anything. You play an important role here, my friend. You're a piece of the puzzle, and that picture isn't complete without your crazy little piece. Yeah, it's beautiful and it's perfect. If you haven't read my book, I spoke of this 2 years ago and I got a message. I get downloads, as do you. This isn't weird channeling stuff. I got a download that said this has to come out now. And so I put it out. I wrote it till 3 o'clock, screwball hours. It's simple. It's a simple read. You don't have to know anything else. It's called the knowing. The knowing is I stop asking questions because as a human, I'll never completely know everything. Are you ready for this? Buckle up because it's happening and it's just a last ditch attempt and it may last a few years. No one will know for sure. It depends on how strong we stay in our faith and our consciousness, because the more we go into that space, the less effect it has on us. And this planet is going to turn around in a way that has never been seen in the cosmos. And we are being watched and they're applauding and cheering us on, because those here that are on the lowest frequency are the biggest threat to the universe. Here, right here, we're with it. It's not out there. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I have a channel called Chic Sustainability, and I'm going to be launching. I already launched it. I already have 1,500 subscribers, but I'm going to really emphasize it. I'm stepping away from teaching digital explorers, which is online businesses that are conscious businesses. I'm stepping away from landranka.com that teaches breakthrough fear. They still exist, but now my focus is living a beautiful, happy, fun, chic, sustainable life. When I say chic, it's like we're not growing hair under our armpits and stinking out in the woods. We're going to live a beautiful life that is gorgeous and sustainable and green and respectful. So I'm going to start posting that channel soon. You can go there, get a lot of great ideas on how to live it, what to eat, how to make your life beautiful in the material world, because it is a 3D world, whether we like it or not. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I'm going to do more of these videos. Blessings to you, my friend. Hang in there with me. We're right there. We're right there. And you're going to find this humorous most of the time. You're going to be laughing at some of the things you're going to see. Start sharing your stories with me. Not opinions of who's right, who's wrong, because nobody knows, but what you're experiencing personally. Have you moved past the shadow that you've experienced, the person that you don't want to be anymore? Have you noticed some things about yourself that you could improve on? I know I have. We all have. There's no perfection of the one consciousness here on earth, not in that form. So enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. I'll see you there. Namaste.